What is to know?
Savoir.
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 Savoir. How do you spell savoir?
S-A-V-O-I-R.
Right. S-A-V-O-I-R. Savoir, to know. If you pull off the S of savoir, what will you get?
Avoir.
Avoir. Yes? And avoir means to have. So savoir, oh, you're trying again. You're trying to remember. Please don't try to remember. Just, yes. So to know is
Savoir.
savoir, yes. And to have without the S is
Avoir.
avoir. Avoir.
Avoir.
Right. So avoir would be spelled?
A-V-O-I-R.
Right. A-V-O-I-R. Avoir, to have. Now, if you pull off the A of avoir, you get
Voir.
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 And voir means to
see.
Of course, to see. So we have savoir, to know, without the S, avoir, to have, without the A, voir, to see. Savoir, avoir, and voir, to know what you have to see. Yes? Okay, again, to know,
Savoir.
to have,
Avoir.
and to see.
Voir.
Right. Yes. How would you say, I would like to have something else?
Je voudrais avoir
Something else.
autre chose.
Right. Je voudrais avoir autre chose. Je voudrais is spelled V-O-U-D-R-A-I-S. So we have an S here at the end, a silent S, which is followed by a vowel of have. So je voudrais avoir, which is fine, yes, if you cut. Je voudrais avoir autre chose. But you can also say je voudrais avoir. Yes, you may push the S into the vowel of avoir. Je voudrais avoir autre chose. Yes. But we have to make a distinction, a sound distinction here between I would like to know, which is
Je voudrais savoir.
je voudrais savoir, and I would like to have.
Je voudrais savoir. Je voudrais avoir.
Right, je voudrais avoir. So whenever you push the S into the vowel, it takes on the sound of a Z or a Z. Yes?
Yes.
Je voudrais avoir. Yes, je voudrais avoir autre chose. How would you say, I would like a glass of white wine?
Je voudrais un verre
Right.
de vin blanc.
Right, very good. Je voudrais un verre de vin blanc. How would you say, in English you may want to say, I would like another glass of white wine.
Je voudrais un autre verre de vin blanc.
Je voudrais un autre verre de vin blanc. Yes means literally I would like another glass of white wine, which means if you ask a waiter, if you say that to a waiter, je voudrais un autre verre de vin blanc, he will look at the glass and think there's something wrong with the glass, and he will just replace the glass.
Right.
He will take it literally.
Right.
Yes. Therefore, in French, if you want another something else, yes, another glass, yes, you will say, I would like one more glass, encore un verre. Encore is still more, yes, and you will say encore un verre de vin blanc. So, therefore, if you want to say, I would like another bottle of white wine, would be
Je voudrais encore bouteille.
Again, je voudrais.
Je voudrais encore.
No, je voudrais.
Oh, I see. Je voudrais encore.
Mhm.
Je voudrais encore.
Encore een,
Encore une bouteille. I see.
again.
Je voudrais encore.
Encore een
Encore une bouteille.
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 Bouteille is right.
Bouteille de vin blanc.
Right. Je voudrais encore une bouteille de vin blanc. Yes. I'd like another bottle of white wine. Yes.
Yeah.
But if you say, instead of encore une bouteille, you say, je voudrais une autre bouteille de vin blanc, then the waiter will say, well, you had this kind of wine, yes?
Yes.
Now you want
A different one.
a different bottle, yes? Of a different kind of wine,
Yeah.
yes?
Yeah.
And he'll ask you what other kind of wine would you want. So how would you say I would like a cup of coffee?
Je voudrais
Cup?
tasse.
Right, okay. So I would like a cup of coffee.
Je voudrais une tasse.
Je voudrais, what's more?
Je voudrais une tasse.
You already gave me, je voudrais une.
Oh, je voudrais une tasse.
Je voudrais une
Je
tasse.
voudrais une tasse.
Once more?
Je voudrais une tasse
Tasse, yes, of coffee.
de café.
Right. Je voudrais une tasse de café. Yes, I would like a cup of coffee. How would you say, I would like another cup of coffee?
Je voudrais encore.
But I would like, je voudrais
Je voudrais
encore
encore.
Encore
une tasse. Café. Tasse de café.
Right, very good. Je voudrais encore une tasse de café. Encore une tasse de café. I would like still more a cup. Encore une tasse de café. I would like another cup of coffee. Yes. How would you say I would like a glass of mineral water?
Je voudrais.
A glass.
Je voudrais. Verre.
Je voudrais.
Tu voudrais un verre d'eau minérale.
Very good. Je voudrais un verre d'eau minérale. Yes. I would like another cup, another glass of mineral water.
Je voudrais encore un verre d'eau minérale.
Right. Je voudrais encore un verre d'eau minérale. Yes. So back to the consonants. Yes. So I repeat, je répète, I repeat. The consonant at the end of a word in French is not sounded unless it is followed by an E, except for the four careful consonants, C, R, F, L. So we started with C, like in avec, like in sac for bag, except NC, like in blanc and franc, yes? So that's C. Then the R, well, R like in savoir, to know, avoir, to have, voir, to see, venir, to come, partir is to leave, to depart, partir. Yes. So the R is pronounced, yes, except for ER. When you have an ER, then ER is pronounced A. Like parler is to speak. Parler. Which means that the to form of a verb, yes, meaning the full verb, in English was to speak, to go, to eat, yes?
Yes.
That to is expressed in the ending with an R. Most verbs will end in ER. More than 90% of all verbs end in ER. Pronounced A. Like to go would be
aller,
aller. Again, for the consonants, the R is sounded at the end except with ER. So we have C, R, then F, like in bœuf for beef. Yes. And the L, we already had EL and AL, normal,
Yes.
général, spécial, hôtel. So we have been talking here about nouns, give the 1,200 nouns in ION and the ENCE and ANC, about adjectives, IBLE, ABLE, ENT and ANT and air, nécessaire and so on. And we've been talking about verbs. I like to avoid using grammatical terms, which I don't want to use, except when I'm talking about verbs, nouns, and adjectives. But in that case, I want to make sure that we know what we're talking about. Unfortunately, if I were to ask you what is a noun or an adjective or a verb, if you remember, then you will remember the definitions that you had received as a child in school. Yes. Let's forget about the school definitions and say that a noun, any word in front of which you can place the article the, is a noun. So happiness is the noun, the happiness. Yes. So whenever you have the, you have a noun. Whenever you have is or am in front of a word, you have an adjective. Proud is an adjective. Is proud, I am proud. Yes. Any word in front of which you can place to is a verb. Yes. To be, to have, to sleep, and so on. So now we can talk about nouns, adjectives, and verbs. Yes. Okay. Now, the important part I want to talk about are verbs. Because if you know how to use verbs in any language, you know how to use the language. The verbs and the use of the verbs is the backbone of a language. The full verb, what I call the full verb, is in English usually the to form. Yes, to go, to have, to be, to see, and so on. It's also called infinitive. But whatever it's called, let's think of the full verbs, yes? In English with to, mostly. Not always, but mostly. In French, that to form is expressed in an ending, and that ending in French ends in an R. Either ER, which is pronounced A, where you don't sound the R, yes? And more than 90% of all verbs in French end in A, in ER. Or venir, to come, ending in IR, partir, to leave, ending in IR, dormir, dormant, dormitory, dormir, to sleep, ending in IR, savoir, OIR, yes, to know, avoir, to have, voir, to see, comprendre is to comprehend, to understand, ending in RE. Faire, we had to do or to make. It's fair to do or to make, spelled F-A-I-R-E. So you always have an R at the end. Either ER, most, again, more than 90% of all verbs, and an ER pronounced A, or IR, venir, partir, dormir, or RE, R, R-E, comprendre, faire, yes, or O-I-R, savoir, avoir, voir. So there's always somehow an R at the end, yes, E-R-I-R, O-I-R, or R-E. Whenever you have 2 or 3 consecutive verbs in French, you do not change the verb. In other words, you use the full verb, the second and the third verb automatically are in the full verb. For instance, if you want to say, what was will you is?
Voulez-vous?
Right, voulez-vous? Will you or do you want? Yes. And what is to come is?
Venir?
Yes, good. What is to eat?
Manger?
Manger, ending?
Er.
Oh, of course. Yes. Okay. How would you say, will you come eat with me? Start with will you.
Voulez-vous
Come,
venir
eat
manger
with me.
avec moi?
Right. So you see, after voulez-vous, the next verb in French you will say, will you, to come, to eat. Yes. Voulez-vous venir manger? Yes. In English, well, depending on
If you're American
whether
or
we
English,
use American English or British English. Here you in British English you will say, will you come and eat? Yes.
Yes.
In the American English, will you come eat? Yes. But either way, in French, it's the second and third verb is the full verb. Will you to come to eat? Voulez-vous venir manger avec moi? I must is je dois, I must, je dois, I must, je dois, I must. Dois spelled D-O-I-S, je dois, I must.
D-O-I-S.
O-I-S.
D-O-I-S, je dois. For instance, if you want to say, I must speak with you.
Je dois parler avec vous.
Yes, once more. Say it again.
Je dois
Speak.
parler avec vous.
Right. Je dois parler avec vous. How you spell parler at the end?
E-R.
Right. I must to speak with you. Je dois parler avec vous. Yes. How would you say, will you speak French with me?
Voulez-vous parler français avec moi?
Right. How you spell parler at the end?
Yeah.
Right. Voulez-vous parler français avec moi? I must know where it is. I must.
Je
Should.
dois.
Right. So I must know.
Je dois savoir.
Right.
Je dois savoir
Where
où
it is.
c'est.
Yes. Right. So once more, I must know.
Je dois.
No.
Je
Yes. Je dois.
Je
yes.
dois savoir
Where
où
it is.
ça, c'est. Où c'est?
Right. I am is je suis. Je suis. It's a very sweet word. Very sweet. Spelled S-U-I-S. Je suis, I am. If you want to say I am tired, would be I am fatigued. Je suis fatigué. I'm very tired now would be.
Je suis fatigué.
I'm very tired.
Je suis très fatigué.
Now?
Non.
Maintenant. Right. Je suis très fatigué maintenant. The word for busy is occupé. Occupied. Occupé. Occupé. Spelled O-C-C-U-P-E, but an accent over the E to give it the sound of an A. Occupé. Yes. So I am very busy now would be.
Je suis très occupé maintenant.
Right. Je suis très occupé maintenant. How you spell très?
T-R-E-S.
T-R-E-S with an accent over the E. Très, yes. So here you have an S, silent S, followed by a vowel. So you can also say...
occupé. Très occupé.
Yes, je suis très occupé. Yes, yes. Je suis très occupé maintenant. What is a little?
Petit.
No, petit means small. A little is un
peu.
Un peu is right. So un peu, a little. I can has the same sound as little. Je peux is I can. Je peux. Je peux.
Je peux.
Yes. Je peux.
Je peux.
I can a little would be.
Je peux un peu.
Right. Je peux un peu. Right. Je peux un peu. So I can and a little have the same sound. Je peux. I can. Je peux. Je peux.
Je peux.
How would you say not now?
Pas maintenant.
Pas maintenant. Not for me, thank you.
Pas.
For me.
Pour moi.
Merci.
Merci.
Right. Merci, thanks. Yes, pas pour moi. Merci. I can.
Je peux.
Right. Thank you. Je peux. I can. How would you say I can not?
Je peux pas. Je ne.
No. Je peux, once more.
Je peux pas.
Right. Je peux pas. I cannot. Yes. But in the course of the French language, somehow the French like to put in a signal whenever they use any negation, a negative signal, which is only a signal, meaning a touch of an N up front. And so instead of saying je peux pas, I cannot, they would say je ne. That N, je ne. That N means I'm going to use a negation, any negation. Yes. So it's just a signal. It is, in a way, it is not a negation. It is not in the way it is usually presented or taught as a double negation. Yes. No. The N, which is spelled N-E as a separate word, but in speaking just a touch of an N, je ne, meaning I'm going to use a negation. Je ne peux pas. I cannot. This does not mean that in the spoken language all French people will use that signal. So you may not always hear it. If you don't hear it, that means that they just didn't bother using it. They may say, je peux pas, je peux pas, for I cannot. Even the I is just touched very lightly. Je peux pas, I cannot. Yes. So if you hear that, it's still I cannot. Yes, yes, yes. So you will rarely hear French, in the spoken language, French people use the way you learn it maybe in school, je ne peux pas. Yes? No. So it's usually je ne peux pas. Yes. Je ne peux pas.
Je ne peux pas.
So I am is the sweet word.
Je suis.
Je suis.
Je suis.
And I am not would be for the buzzer.
Je ne suis pas.
Je ne
suis pas.
Je ne suis pas.
Je ne suis pas.
Yes, yes. So I'm not tired now.
Je ne suis pas fatigué.
Right. Je ne suis pas fatigué now.
Maintenant.
Right. Je ne suis pas fatigué maintenant. Yes.
Je ne suis pas fatigué maintenant.
Yes. But I'm very busy now. But is...
I've forgotten.
Okay, fine. What is I'm sorry?
Je regrette.
Once more?
Je regrette.
Je regrette.
Regrette. Je regrette.
And I'm sorry, but? Je regrette.
Mais?
Right.
Je regrette, mais...
Right, je regrette, mais. So,
je
but is...
Mais.
Right. Yes. So, but I am... yeah. I'm not very busy now.
Je ne suis pas...
Je ne suis pas, mais je ne suis pas very busy.
Très occupé.
Très occupé.
Maintenant.
Très occupé.
Maintenant.
Very good. Very good. You've just finished the introductory course, and at this point, you should feel competent with the language you've just learned and have a real sense of achievement. You have learned a great deal in such a very short period of time. Thank you.
End of the introductory course.